So as township planner, we're working with Montgomery Township on the comprehensive plan update. Next one, please. The purpose of a comprehensive plan is to be a planning tool to guide the development and protect resources. The previous comp plan was last done in 2008, and that was not done as a full report. That was done more as a pamphlet, kind of informational, fold out, lots of information, but not a deep dive. High on graphics and presentation, little light on info, just the basics. For this one, Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager, asked us to do the full comprehensive plan. The MPC, which is the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, is sort of guiding documentation and legislation for municipalities with respect to land use planning, mandates that the comp plan be reviewed every 10 years. It doesn't say that it needs to be fully redone. It doesn't say that you have to adopt it. The word is review. Just like their phrases that comp plans need to be generally consistent with zoning, or zoning needs to be generally consistent with comp plan. There are these words and phrases that everyone puts quotations around because they haven't totally been tested through the courts. They're these mandated nebulous phrases.
Due to interpretation.
Constantly. Yeah. Ultimately, the comp plan seeks to set forth a common community vision for the future of the township. Next, please. The MPC mandates some specific elements be part of your comprehensive plan. And whether that be done every 10 years or you could do updates to them, you're supposed to look at it. But the basic elements, according to the MPC, include a statement of objectives concerning future development, a plan for land use, a plan to meet housing needs, a plan for transportation and circulation, a plan for community facilities and utilities, a statement of interrelationships among various plans components. That means how it all works together and how it doesn't contradict itself. A discussion of short-term and long-range plan implementation strategies, a statement that existing and proposed development is compatible with that of neighboring municipalities, and a plan for the protection of natural and historical resources. So basically what it says is to do an analysis, look at your current conditions, and then have some sort of plan for the future. And these are the elements that you're supposed to look at. Next, please. A big portion of the comprehensive plan that Montgomery Township particularly embraced is the public input. Basically, my personal view of a comprehensive plan is that it's not my plan, it's the township's plan. So it can't just be the consultant's guide of what you need to do. It needs to be the public, the township. So Montgomery Township has had a really robust public information and public engagement component of the comp plan. A lot of that's been helped with Derek also. So community input is the crucial element of the process, and Montgomery Township embraced that concept early on. The plan needs to address the issues, concerns, and recommendations of everyone living in the township. And when I say living, it's people who live, work, and play in the township. So the public input opportunities in Montgomery Township, there were study committee meetings that meet monthly at the planning commission meetings, and special meetings each month on the first Thursday of each month are just for the comprehensive plan. There was a community survey. I think it was 872 results. You'll see that on the subsequent slide. Social media postings, constant social media postings, updates on what's happening with the comprehensive plan, updates on the township website. After each of the comprehensive plan meetings on the first Thursday of the month, Stacy in my office, who's a planner working with me, will do an update, send it to Carolyn. Carolyn gets it to Derek. It gets on the township website. It goes out as on your Facebook page, on Twitter. It's good. It's engaging the public, and I believe it's been getting a lot of hits. Has it not?
It's been getting some pretty good engagement.
Good. Thank you. And then also we had a public visioning session, which we'll see about that in a minute too. So just about your study committee, they've been meeting monthly, as I said. We also did a township tour, and that township tour was important. Everyone needed to start talking about things with the same language. Planning commission members all have come about things from a different perspective. So everyone needed to do the tour, talk the same language. So it was the study committee. And I forgot, study committee is not just the planning commission, also includes township staff. Mary Ann McConnell, since it's part of the study committee. Bruce Shoup attends the meetings. We often have the supervisor there, the supervisor liaison. So it's more than just the planning commission. And sometimes we do have visitors. But the township tour was really important. We got to look at the sites that would be ripe for redevelopment or adaptive reuse. We started talking about things, and we did a lot of listening. The committee talked a lot. We listened to the words and phrases they used to describe things, so we understood what their language was. And at the end of that tour, although it was a bit cold and windy, we had a common language for what everything was. It was not supposed to be, but it was.
April 1st.
That's in front of my house.
You didn't invite me.
They just said there was a fence there.
I think mall security came out at one point.
Mall security came out and like wanted to know, like, because it was a gathering of people in the middle of COVID. Standing outside looking at, like,
Parking lot on a cold day.
yeah, in the middle of like tumbleweeds going by. Next one, the community survey, I was right, 872. It was open from mid-May through mid-June of last year, 872 respondents. Over 57% were between the ages of 41 and 65. So it's telling us that we weren't engaging the younger people as much as the middle to slightly older. Township population is relatively stable. People weren't indicating they're moving around a lot. People tend to stay put, and people that were here hadn't moved away and relocated. They've been here. 97% of the respondents own their own home, which is not unusual with the survey, even though your rental population is much greater than 3%. People that tend to engage more are the ones, in this region at least, the ones that own their properties. The respondents identified schools, quality schools, open space natural areas, and clean air and water as the top 3 qualities of what makes a good community. We didn't ask what they liked best about Montgomery in that question. It was their opinion of what makes a good community. And top priorities for future planning identified were public schools, affordable housing, growth management, traffic and road conditions, and community recreation.
How did that survey go out?
It was an electronic survey. It was online. It was hosted by SurveyMonkey. It was advertised at public meetings, announcements at board meetings and planning commission meetings. It was posted on social media, on the township's Facebook, Twitter pages. I don't think there was a LinkedIn page at that point.
Not at that point.
No. And then the township website, right?
And the electronic newsletters, including the business one, I believe.
Is there any thought to the reason why we had a significant response in that age group is because maybe people 65 and older of the older age group wouldn't come across that survey if they're not on social media or anything like that?
It wasn't that we had less, there's actually less people. That 41 to 65 is your greatest portion of the population also. So
Right.
I was looking more that we didn't have as many young people.
Okay.
So if we were to see like let's say a pie chart, it would show probably a decent amount of residents 65 and older
Above
did engage.
And we also had them available paper in the township, and I think this is one of our few townships where nobody opted for the paper one. Yeah, but we always make a point to have it in paper format, and then what happens if somebody fills out paper, then someone from township staff just quickly enters it right into SurveyMonkey so it can be tabulated.
Right.
But we thought, especially with the population, you have a chunk of older residents in the township, that there might be a need for paper, but there was none.
Okay, good.
So if you're.
I just wanted to make sure it was a representative, the results were representative of the demographics, because we, to your point, we do have, right over there, a pretty significant chunk in the 65 and older.
They're very engaged in social media, the people in the Shawnee Falls. The misconception has always been that people over 65 are not. And actually, they're some of the ones who will say, I saw on your Facebook page, because they're following family members who aren't in the area. And so they're very aware of what's going on.
I just wanted to make sure that we were capturing their feedback as well.
Yeah, I think that we've gotten that.
All right, thank you.
Good point, though. Public visioning session was held last year, September 9th. We had about 20 attendees, and that's in addition to planning commission members, township staff, township elected officials, and our project team members. There were 5 of us from my office out for that session. We use the nominative group technique. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Question, is that a good representation, not what you expected more, 20 attendees?
Well, the attendees was a little light in my standpoint. We had usually between 40 and 50 is sort of the sweet spot for these. We had 128 people up at a fire hall in North Whitehall Township, but they were out because they wanted to tell the township no more warehouses, but that was a different issue.
I was going to say, I would expect you to have a greater response if there's
If there's an
significant
issue.
issues.
Yeah, what happens when something is advertised as well as this one was, it was the same protocol for the public meeting as was for survey. The survey had 872 respondents for only 20 people coming out for the meeting, and it was a little later in COVID, so people were a little more comfortable coming out, a little more people had been boosted also. It's telling us that there were just no huge issues, which is good. But it was just one more way to get people involved and to come out. Our philosophy is that some people will come, others will do a survey, still others will just follow social media. Some people might, have some other posts. We wanted to reach people as much as we could. So we used the nominative group technique, basically divided people up into groups. I think we ended up doing 3 groups. I think Montgomery.
4.
Did we do 4?
It is 4.
Okay, that's right. I was set up for 5. We ended up doing 4. Thank you. They were just small groups. You got to talk more. You were there. Yeah. So we asked 4 questions, 2 in the positive, 2 in the negative, because some people could only say what they like and some people could only say what they don't like. So what do you like most about Montgomery Township today? What do you like least? What do you want to see in the future? What do you not want to see in the future? And then I had people from our office and on big pieces of newsprint, giant post-its, write each answer. We also named the colors so you can read the question. At the end, everyone voted. Each person had 4 dots per question, and they could vote on the 4. It was for whatever they agreed with the most. So all 4 on 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 1. It was their choice. At the end, we got together and had a reporter from each group give their group's results. And it always seems that each groups are talking totally different things. You get to the end and there's consensus among the groups on the big issues. The big results were diverse mix of land uses, availability of green open space and parks, proximity of the township's location to other areas of interest. These were all things they really liked. Things that needed to be addressed were the aging infrastructure, develop a business plan for the future revenue, and redevelopment of the mall. Redevelopment of the mall was probably the most common theme in the room.
Year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here too, around this table.
And then the demographics. 2019, the population was 26,044, and this is all done on the 2019 census update. The 2020 census discrete information population projections. The population projection still isn't out yet, so to be consistent is based on the 2019 update. By 2040, DVRPC estimates that the population would be projected to reach 28,418, which would be a little over 9% increase from 2019. And the population's aging. That's not a surprise. In 2010, the largest segment was the 35 to 49. 2019, that's moved up. It's 50 to 64, which coincides with the largest percentage of respondents also. When we do the age-sex pyramids, in an ideal world, if population was totally stable, it would be a period because there's always more people in that cohort at the time they're born than any other time because people die off. So in like a perfect balanced world, it's a perfect pyramid. In this case, the baby boomers have skewed everything. And as they go through, you see that, and as subsequent little boomlets go, you see they're not dying off.
Thank God.
They're not
I'm
dying
in
off,
that
but
group.
what happens is there were so many of them to start with,
And younger generations are waiting later and later to have children.
and not having as much. It's rare that you see the 5 or 6 children in a family that you saw when I was a kid. My husband and I, we didn't even replace ourselves. We have 1 child. So when you start looking at that, for every couple there's 1 child, you're having the future population. But then for every one of us, there's someone that has 3 or 4, so. So we just look at that as one of the things that we need to look at as we move forward. The existing land use, this shouldn't really be a surprise to any of you. The largest land use in the township is single family detached at just over 46%, single family unattached, 11.75, then some additional multifamily manufactured home. That's primarily the village of Neshaminy-Bob. Transportation utility, commercial, the percentage didn't show up because the line was too long, sorry. But that's somewhere greater than this, or less than the 7, because mixed use is 7, the next bar is a little bigger. Institutional 2.26, that's your churches, schools, cemeteries. Industrial 5.69, the healthy mix in the township. Recreation and parkland, that's a nice healthy 11.55%. Vacant undeveloped for the tax rolls is 5.96, just under 6. Mining, and the smallest sliver of agriculture. But what this is telling us is that although it's heavily skewed toward residential, single family detached primarily, which was the way the township was developed in the 50s and 60s, there is a healthy mix of the non-residential uses that contributes to the tax base and enables the township to provide the level of services for their residents.
The recreation parkland fields at 11.55 compared to other townships of our size and location, is that high, low?
That's right about average for ones of your size. I have to tell you, like, we have 2 that we're doing up in the Lehigh Valley comp plans, and they're much higher because there's a lot of state game lands and stuff. You don't have state game lands in county parks, Bucks County.
That's what I'm saying.
Depending on the municipality, there's a lot of county parks. Or if you would take out the county parks, you're just about right.
Okay.
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. Take out the county parks to other municipalities, you'll just be about right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So goals and objectives. The comp plan will set forth a lot of goals and objectives for all those components that we talked about earlier. Goals are the general broad statements. They're overall, all encompassing, and say a lot. The objectives get more specific. You get into detailed policies. And then we have, well, I'll talk about in a minute, an action plan which creates implementable items for each objective. So for land use, the goal for land use for the comp plan has been determined to be plan for and manage the use of land in a manner that provides for a balanced range of uses, meets the needs of current and future residents, and establishes a balance among resource protection, preservation of community character, and growth. That's land use for the overall goal. For housing, does that show how good it looks? The pictures look really dark on my thing right now. Provide diverse and affordable housing options to meet the needs of all households now and into the future. And affordable does not say low income. It doesn't say what the level of affordability is. It's perception of affordable of the community. And the way it was expressed to us was so that our kids can buy a house when they come back. So, but affordable could take on a number of connotations, and specifically in the goal, it's specifically left up to the perception of the township. Economic development goal is to seek a balanced, diversified economy in order to maintain and enhance the quality of life of local residents. That was one of the big points of at least one of the groups during the visioning session. Really balance the economy and make sure that we're not looking at just one facet of the township. Community facilities goals, there were 2. Provide for appropriate and adequate community services and facilities within the practical fiscal limits of the township. And second, to continue to maintain, enhance, and expand natural, historical, and cultural open space areas, trails, and parks and recreation opportunities for township residents. basically make sure that we provide the goods and services that people need, and make sure that while doing that, we don't ruin what makes the township special. Transportation and infrastructure. They're always lumped together in a comp plan, but they're different items. This one has 3. Continue to maintain, enhance, and expand natural, historical, and cultural open space areas, trails, and parks and recreation opportunities for township residents. Provide a safe transportation system which optimizes mobility and access, sustains quality of life, strengthens the economy, and protects the environment, and improve the township's infrastructure to support future demands. Yeah, that first one, that's a mistake up in the corner. That was on the last one. Transportation has 2. There's a double in there. That's my fault. I didn't catch it when I was obsessing about this on Friday afternoon. Sorry, Derek.
That's all right, we did.
I thought you doubled it just because it's so important.
I'm reading it.
I
I'm
assumed
reading
that
it.
as well when I read it.
I'm reading it. I'm like, that's not where it belongs.
No worries.
I know, I want to like edit it right now. Sorry. On mine, I could, but it wouldn't affect yours. Natural resources. Protect the natural environment and conserve the natural resources of the township while accommodating future growth. Again, don't destroy what makes it special. And then we're creating an implementable action plan, and that's the item that was just reviewed with the Planning Commission this month. And that for each goal, there are several objectives. We've gone through them with the group before, and then we created action items for each of those. And we created a list. It's a big table. So for each goal, say goal 1, objective 1, then there's several action items. And each action item has the entity that would be responsible for implementing it, and then a priority. The priority is high, medium, low, and ongoing. And that's not based on importance, that's based on time frame. So an ongoing is something that's happening already and will continue to happen. High would be 0 to 2 years, medium 2 to 5 years, and low 5 to 10 years. Because not everything can be happening at once, nor should everything happen at once. Sometimes something has to happen first, but others just take longer to implement. So there are a lot of things, and we've been reviewing them with the study committee. The next one, but in the next steps, we're putting together the full comp plan draft now. We'll have that for the study committee for next month. So like they've seen each chapter as it goes. We've been very involved with it and going back and forth and presenting all of our findings each time, and all the chapters are being put together. Now Stacy is back in her office compiling it with all of the graphics and the charts, and pulling special word boxes out and stuff, putting photos in. So that full draft will be in the Planning Commission. Once the Planning Commission makes a recommendation to send it to the board will see it, and the board then will determine when to send it out for advertising and public comment. There's a 45-day public comment period, or public review period. It gets sent to our Planning Commission, the County Planning Commission, the school district, surrounding municipalities, and I think adjacent school districts too. I've checked the MPC. It goes out to like everyone. And they all have a 45-day period to get comments back to the township. At that time, the board can have a public hearing for the final adoption of the comp plan. So that's the process and the next steps. And that was the last slide, I believe.
That was our last slide.
Yeah. Love it
Thank
when
you,
it works.
Judith.
You're welcome.